Clock's in the red, 2 points in it. England on the attack. How's this going to play out? Marler wants it. Nope, goes behind to Marcus Smith with a droppy. Rappy. Whew, how do I sum up a rugby weekend like that? The Rugbyverse provided great entertainment all weekend long and, whisper it, very little controversy. I guess the best place to start is the start of the Six Nations, because that gets the views. It's me, Menoncello, bitch! Last week I wondered if Italy would be able to back up their great performance against France. Too bad I'm a hater, and I thought that even a depleted Scotland would be able to ride Finn's hot boots to victory. Boots weren't really involved in the beginning though. Instead, Scotland somehow found a way to clean rucks using quantum tunneling, making their ruck speed be -seconds. That, and they also just offloaded in the tackle the whole time. This speed of play was just too much for the Italians to handle, and they were giving up meters like it was free. 22-10 down after 30 minutes, and things were looking ominous for Italy. Luckily, they managed to slow down the speed of the Scottish play as the half wore on, and a couple of rambunctious boys in the midfield, called Brex and Menoncello, were starting to cause a few problems. When the second half rolled around, those boys reached full power. Brex was playing as a kind of second 10 with lovely pullback passes and kicks through, and Menoncello was playing as a kind of piano falling off a roof. Brex's skill and Menoncello's murderous intent brought the Italians right back into the game, and it was another little kick through that led to the try for Mr. Liner. Second halves have been okay to poor for Scotland this year, and I still maintain that their forwards just drop off too much around 60 minutes. It happened again this game as they struggled to impose themselves on Italy for long periods of time and had to work very hard to score the points to get within 2 of Italy. And it is a tribute to this growing Italian side to say that even though Scotland were attacking so well at the end of the game to try and get their winning try, I just kind of knew Italy would hold them out. 13 points to 29, sealing a historic win for Italy. Their first win in Rome since 2013. God save the quick king! The Six Nations cookout continued later on Saturday with the written-off England taking on the very scary Irish. I thought the best way to beat the Irish would be to slow down their rucks so a set defense could get in their faces. I didn't think about just hogging the ball and then running it at the visitors like some kind of well-coached team that thinks about more than just one way to stop another side. England did both things well and managed to compete with one of the world's best for the full 80 minutes. Alex Mitchell and George Ford were pulling the attacking strings brilliantly, and you could see that Furbank had been told to just sprint back at the Irish every now and again so that England could keep the ball but still attack the Irish in their own half. They battered that Irish defence over and over, which meant that Ireland weren't doing the same to the English. Ireland aren't scary for no reason though, and whenever they got a sniff, they got themselves into the English half and came away with points most times. 8 points to 12 at half time, and Andy and Steve able to hug it out in the tunnel. The second half was much the same, only Ireland got more ball. And when Ireland get the ball, they usually score tries. 2 for low meant the Irish went ahead and the pressure was on the hosts. Up stepped Ben Earl. The man was already having a monster game, but he raised it to another level, and with his help, England got themselves into a good position to go for the win. The ball went out to Marcus Smith, and one of the coolest ways to win a game happened. England 23, Ireland 22, and Röntgen readings of 3.6 all over Dublin since the final whistle. Not great, not terrible. Think of the children! After 2 great Saturday games, we had the Sunday clash between the young ones of Cymru and the French trauma victims. Unfortunately, I did not get to see much of this game. I did, however, see that France got themselves a couple monster locks, a new 10, and Cooks got banned for poor form as much as for poor form. The most intriguing change came at 9. The transporter was moved to the bench and Legarek finally got his shot at a start this year. Almost all of that seems moot though. When you have a side that can pull one gigantic kaiju after the other off the bench, it's no wonder that they steamrolled the plucky, severely mismanaged and underfunded as shit Welsh side. Wales starters though were giving as good as they got. They were even leading by 24 points to 20 at one point. They were getting through the once airtight Edwards defence and Rio Dyer was making waves. Then France brought out Malvaka, and Taufifenua, and bloody Coulomb. They simply crushed the Welsh and ran out 45-24 winners to slightly banish the pain of last October. And that was the best weekend of Six Nations Rugby so far this year. When you get to round 4 of a competition, you can see that the teams have been together for a while. Attack and defense quality was up across the board, and the differences between the worst and the best have narrowed. We are set up for a great Super Saturday now. Wales host Italy first, and they need to beat the visitors by 11 points or more, I think, to avoid the wooden spoon. I think. I'm bad at math. Ireland hosts Scotland in what could have been a title decider if Italy hadn't decided to be good all of a sudden. If Ireland win, the championship is theirs. The last game sees France host England, and if Ireland do the job over Scotland, then this game will probably be for second place. Something France would not be happy with, and something I think England would be pretty chuffed with. Go and watch. It's good. And now to sample a little news. Anything of substance. Anything that isn't just some absolute horseshit that clogs up the internet. I guess we can look into how Super Rugby is going. That competition added to the weekend's rugby buffet with some great results. My favorite being the Reds beating the Chiefs in a very good game. Tate the Snake, McWright and Harry Wilson are all the heartbeat of that team, and it is very good to see the Aussies competitive. Speaking of competitive, the Crusaders are not. They have now gone 0-3 for the first time since 1996 and are very low down on the table. Pretty bad, but remember, you only need to win 6 of 14 games to be safely into the playoffs in this competition. I will still not sing their downfall. Not until I see a full player revolt, maybe an open letter to the fans and a 50-point battering at least once. Until then, they are still a threat. I have been hurt too many times. Any other news? Let's see. The second Bok test sold out in no time as well. SA Rugby has revealed the Springboks coaching staff again. And Jason Jenkins is coming back to SA to play for, you guessed it, the Sharks. And that will have to be it for this week. I will see you all next week to congratulate Ireland on their championship and Italy on avoiding the wooden spoon. Maybe? Ciao.